My boyfriend got my little sister pregnant. Yeah, while we were dating. My little sister is 3 years younger than me, and we've always had a pretty tense relationship. And that's because she's always wanted to copy everything I do. And not just when she was really young, it still happens to this day. But she wasn't copying me in a way of like admiring me. She would copy me because she was in some kind of competition with me. Like whatever I did, she wanted to do it better. If I had an outfit, she wanted to wear the same one, but style it better. If I did an activity, she wanted to join the same one and be better at it than me. That's how it's been our entire life. And I very quickly noticed that when I started dating, she started flirting with all of my boyfriends, and not subtly. She'd be like, you know, imagine if we would have met first. Like, you probably would have been dating me. But obviously you can't because you're with my sister, but like, if you hadn't met her, right? That's weird. That's just so disrespectful. I would bring this up to her and tell her that it made me really uncomfortable and I thought that it was weird. She'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so dramatic. You're so jealous. And my parents would say the same thing. They're like, Kelsey, it's your little sister. What are you talking about? She's obviously joking. Sorry, I don't think that's funny. And I have a pretty good sense of humor, if I'm being honest. So it just got to the point that I stopped bringing the guys that I was dating around my family because it just wasn't worth the drama for me, which is really sad because I'm really close with my parents, but I knew that if we went to any family holidays, she was going to be there and it was always going to just start a fight. So I stayed away. Things changed when I started dating my most recent boyfriend because it started getting more serious. We were dating for over a year and I knew that I needed to bring him around my family because that's what you have to do. You know what I mean? Also, I stupidly thought that maybe somehow my sister had matured and wouldn't act up anymore, but I was wrong. The first time she met my boyfriend, one of the first things she said is she's like, oh my gosh, if Kels ever misbehaves or treats you wrong, just let me know. I'll fix it. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. I always have your back. I was like, this is weird. Like, this is just a weird conversation you're having. She was also just being really touchy with him, wanting to always sit by him, was grabbing his arm, laughing at all his jokes. She was flirting with him. Like, I know what flirting looks like, okay? And I know what her flirting looks like because she's my little sister and I've known her whole life. So I pull her aside and I'm like, yeah, we're not going to do this, okay? We're not going to continue to do this. I can't. I'm tired. You got to just be normal and stop flirting with all my boyfriends. And again, she was like, oh my gosh, I did not realize how insecure you were. Like, it's actually really sad that I'm the younger sibling and I'm just so much more confident, so much more self-assured. Like, if you were acting like this with my boyfriends, I would not be upset at all. Okay, well, you've never had a boyfriend, and there's a reason for that. I'm just gonna put that out there. About a month after this initial meeting, my little sister calls me and tells me that she has amazing news and that she's actually gonna be moving states and moving to the city that my boyfriend and I live in. Great. I was so excited for that. And not only was she moving to our city, she was going to move into the same apartment complex that we lived in. Even better for me. So she moves to our city, moves into our apartment complex, and suddenly she needs help with absolutely everything. She doesn't have a car, so she needs to be driven everywhere. She needs help having everything built. She needs help with all the moving stuff. And guess who she asks for all of it? Yeah, you're right. My boyfriend. Coincidental? I think not. And it got to the point that they were hanging out and I didn't even know they were hanging out. He would get home and I'd be like, where were you? And he was like, I was with your sister. I was helping her do X, Y, Z. I was like, wait, what? What do you mean you were with my sister? Why didn't you tell me? And he's like, oh, I didn't think it was a big deal. She just needed a favor. And so I went to help out. Like, she lives in our building. No, okay? He was making it seem like it was innocent. It wasn't innocent. It gets to the point that this is the biggest issue in our relationship. We're constantly arguing about it, where I'm like, I want you to stop spending so much time with my sister because you already know the previous issues that are there. And he was like, it's your family. I'm just trying to be a good guy. I'm like, okay, sorry, your loyalty is to me and I'm asking you to establish this boundary and you won't do it and it's weird. And we were just going back and forth for weeks about it. Finally, one day, my little sister comes to my apartment while my boyfriend and I are watching a movie and she just looks so upset. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what is going on? And that's when she tells me that she is pregnant, which I'm shocked about because she just moved to the city. I didn't know she was dating anyone. The only guy that she's been hanging out with is my boyfriend. See, at the time I didn't put that together because I thought that there was no way that he would do that to me, but yeah, just wait. But the person who was even more shocked was my boyfriend. He looked like he was about to projectile vomit. I was like, wow, they obviously have gotten really close. He's really concerned about her. And that's when I start asking her, I was like, okay, who's the father? Whose baby are you having? And she gets really quiet. She's like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't really want to tell you. I was like, why are you being weird about this? And obviously we know why she was being weird about this. Then she starts looking at my boyfriend. She's like, I mean, like, are you going to tell her or am I? She fully came in here ready to expose him, and he had no idea. It was just all going down right there in my living room. So I look at him. He looks absolutely sick. I'm looking at her, and low-key, she's smirking a little bit. She's happy about this because, again, everything's a competition, and apparently she won. She took my man. That's what she wanted this whole time. And I look at him. I'm like, no, please tell me that she's lying. She's making this up. And he can't even get any words out. I can see it on his face that, yeah, it's him. He's the father of this baby. So I absolutely lose it. I'm like, what are you even talking about? And he has the audacity to say to me, well, I know I cheated, but I only half cheated because it's your sister. You shared DNA. So it's like, it's not as bad if I was cheating with someone else. It's like, it's half cheating. No, I'm sorry. What man logic is that? I cannot. It's way worse to cheat with somebody's sibling than with a stranger. So obviously I kick him out. I'm like, you have somewhere else to sleep in the exact same building. So don't even feel bad about it. I don't want to see your face ever again. I look at my sister. I'm like, I don't want to see your face ever again either. My ex-boyfriend is now texting me 24/7, apologizing, saying it was a mistake. It only happened once, which I don't believe based on how much time they spent together. And my family keeps texting me, it's your little sister. Give her grace. People make mistakes. So people make mistakes? That was not a mistake. That was a betrayal. Haven't heard anything from my little sister though. Not one text, not one apology, because she's not sorry. She very much planned for this to happen. I know it.
Story time on how I caught chlamydia twice in the 8th grade. If you're a little girl and you're watching this is just your sign to slow down. You do not have to do what you see everybody else doing. Do not be a follower, be a leader. I'm sure that you've already heard this, but this video is confirmation, for real. So I lost my virginity at a hotel party when I was 14 years old. He was 17 years old and he was in the 9th grade. I was in the 8th grade. He was in the 9th grade because he didn't care about school. So I don't even know why I thought he would care about my body. But I was too young to even pay attention to this type of stuff. I thought he was cool, for real. Everybody else thought he was cool too. He took multiple girls' virginity. Keep in mind, this is my current baby daddy. Anyway, I met this boy April the 15th, 2018. I knew him before, I knew of him before I knew him, but I didn't really, start talking to him until April. When he took my virginity, him and his homeboy got a hotel, the same place that we were having a hotel party at. And the hotel party was May the 12th, 2018. So the girl I was with, she had already been doing this type of stuff. This is her boyfriend. But when he realized I was a virgin, during the act, he was like, wait, you want me to take your virginity? I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, wait, why me? And I was like, I don't know, I'm just ready to lose my virginity. And honestly, I was just being a follower because none of the girls that I knew, that I hung around had their virginity. Except for the ones I went to school with. But the ones I hung around, they didn't have their virginity. One of my friends at the time, she had a baby in the 7th grade. So yeah, I was being a follower. The day after he took my virginity, he was with another girl at the teen center. And the teen center is kind of like a boys and girls club, but for teens. So yeah. So taking my virginity meant absolutely nothing to him. He was literally with a girl the next day. But my mama found out that I lost my virginity through my sister because my sister told her auntie and her auntie told my mom. And she took me to get tested. Well, she took me to get put on birth control and they test you for STDs. So I got put on depot and 2 days later they called and said I had chlamydia. Now, I wasn't really educated on this type of stuff. I did have a health course about this stuff, but I don't think I was really paying attention because I thought I got it from a toilet seat. I was thinking it couldn't have been him. I was in 8th grade. Honestly, I should have educated myself before even doing this type of stuff, but whatever. So because I thought I got it from a toilet seat, I didn't talk to him about it. I didn't even talk to him anymore at the time because of what he had did. I was so uneducated. I genuinely thought I got it from a toilet seat. And the crazy part is, y'all, I was gifted in middle school. Even in high school, I graduated in 11th grade. Not a semester early. I didn't graduate in December. I graduated a whole school year earlier. Anyways, I forgive him around August, when school starts again. So now I'm in the 9th grade and he's still in the 9th grade. So I started messing with him again around August or whatever. And like I said, my mom put me on birth control, so I have to go get the shot every 3 months. And I don't remember exactly what month I found out that I had chlamydia from the toilet seat. But I know that 3 months later, I went to go get tested again because I have to get the shot again. And they called me 2 days later and they said, you have chlamydia. So at this point, I'm like, this has to be coming from him. Like, I start asking questions, start looking it up, and it confirmed that it came from him. And at this time, I'm still 14 years old, and I think now I'm in the 9th grade. So when I let him know, I didn't even let him know about the first time because he was like a really good manipulator. He could flip it or turn it however he want. And he was already like trying to say that I wasn't a virgin when I actually was a virgin because that's what his cousins was telling him. His cousins was weird. But anyway, he apologized and I forgave him because at the time I was just like, oh, you didn't know, like somebody gave it to you. You didn't know, it's not your fault, you didn't give it to me on purpose. Like a dummy I am. So I ended up contacting his mama to make sure that she takes him to the doctor or whatever. And she did. Like he texted me and he let me know that like he got the shot or whatever. But he threw away the paperwork. He gonna go tell his mama that he don't got nothing. His mama gonna text me talk about some, oh baby, I took him to the doctor, they said he didn't have anything and I hope you find out who gave it to you. Just be more careful. I'm like, oh no ma'am. And send her the screenshot of everything that he said because you ain't finna just be making it seem like nothing this way.
Put a finger down if, because I'm bored and why not? Why not? My life is funny. So put a finger down if you're talking to a man and he texts you, asks you what you're doing and you're blow drying your hair. So you tell him that you're blow drying your hair and he has his read receipts on and he doesn't text you back. You don't think nothing of it. But now you know that he didn't text you back because you're busy. You're not free for him. So he doesn't text you back. You don't think nothing of it. You go about your day. You get another text message from him about 3 hours later. What you doing now? And you say, I'm leaving Target. And now that you're free and available for him, he like, you wanna smoke and drink? I mean, you wanna smoke and eat? And I say, hell yeah, like I wanna smoke and eat. So you about to be on your way to him. He like, you gonna take long though because I just got off work and it is already late. Now you're rushing me. But I'm not thinking of it yet. I'm not mad yet. I'm just like, I'm about to leave the store right now. I'm about to leave the store. So I'm on my way to him and I get to him. And when he gets in your car, he's on the phone. And the man on the phone is like, bruh, you coming to me right now? Like, you're coming to me directly. Like, you're not about to stop. And blah, blah, blah. And he like, bruh, yes, I'm coming to you. Like, scale that shit for me. So you're confused because you got to make a stop. You got to make a stop. Phone died, my fault. You got to make a stop and you didn't ask me or tell me, but you telling him, okay, you got a green light. Okay, cool. So now he got off the phone with his friend and you're just sitting there waiting for directions and he's like, okay, boo, let's go. You're like, let's go where? Where am I going? He like to go pick up the weed. Now he offers to drive because I don't know where I'm going. You want me to drive? Yes, I want you to drive. That's the smartest thing you ever said to me. He starts driving, and as he's driving, he makes a call to a restaurant. And you hear him order 10 wings, 5 this flavor, 5 this flavor, a drink, whatever, boom. You're waiting for him to ask you what you want to eat from this place. You don't even know what place he called. You just hear him ordering wings. I like wings. He get the price, he hang up. So now I'm just quiet, because damn. All right. Now I'm irritated. And this shit is so sad. Now I'm irritated. So now you're waiting for him to, ask you what you want to eat because you asked me if I want to smoke and eat, right? So he looks at you and says, did you eat? And you looked at him with the stupidest face, said, nope. Because you asked me if I wanted to smoke and eat, so that would mean I didn't eat. If I had ate, I would have told you, no, I already ate. So then he said, oh, looks back at the road. Then he looks back at you and say, what you gonna eat? Oh, you bitch! In my car! What you gonna eat? So I looked at him again, stupid, lost, just shocked. Like, I'm lost for words, and I'm like, Like, I'm just so lost. Like, I'm lost. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to eat. I don't know. Then it gets quiet for another 30 seconds, and he says, you not hungry? Nope. Not hungry no more. Nope. I just want to go home now. So we get to the, where we're going to pick the stuff up at, and we get it, and now he has it in his hand, and he puts it over to me like, boo, you don't want to roll up? Roll up. I look at it, and I don't say nothing. I don't do nothing. I don't touch it. I don't agree. No. Just get it away from me. I didn't say that, but get it the fuck away from me. He like, boo, you want to roll up? He take it away. He's catching a hint. Bitch, I'm not rolling shit. I'm not rolling nothing. So then he pulls up to the place that he got food, which is America's Best Wings. You don't think I like America's Best Wings? You didn't think to be like, you want something from America's Best Wings? Now, this is not about me expecting him to pay for my food. I mean, you're a grown man. You asked me if I wanted to eat or smoke, and we using my car. Why would you not pay? But we had split the check before. I have once went inside of a store to buy our food, and he just sent me his portion. Like, we could have split the check or something. I would have sent you my money for my food or something. No. So he get out at America's Best Wings, or he put up to America's Best Wings. He don't say, boo, you want something to eat? Or you sure you don't want to come in and order something? Or you don't want nothing before I go in there? He don't say nothing. He parked the car, immediately gets out the car, immediately goes to pay for his food. While I'm sitting in the car, I ain't smoked or ate yet. So you call your brother, and you tell him what's going on so far. Like, hey, bro, this is all the sign I needed. He done for. So he starts walking back. You hang up on your brother. And when he gets in the car, he says, oh, but boo, I'm about to go in the house. You're about to do what? You're about to do what? You ain't gonna try to roll up. We ain't about to go get me something to eat. Nothing. Even though I said I wasn't hungry, but bitch, you think this is like a Uber? You got your stuff and you got your food and you about to go home. All I said was, okay, good. Go home. Get the fuck on. Go home. So now we driving, leaving the parking lot. He asked me what time it is. And it's a clock on my fucking screen. And it's correct. So I said, it's a clock right there. It's a clock right there. This motherfucker slam on your brakes. Look at you. Why you on that? Why you on that? On what? Bro, I asked you what time it is. You a smart remark. I ain't asked for a smart response. I asked you, not where the clock is. Okay, it's 8:50. He starts saying more shit and pulling off. I don't care what he's saying. I don't got nothing to say. Now we silent. About 5 minutes away from his house, he say, and you forgetting to tell me that you made it home. What I say every time you leave. Trying to make it sound like he care about me. What I say every time you leave me. Let me know you get in the house. I ain't got a word to say to this bitch. I ain't got nothing to say to him. Because you're never going to get an I'm home text from me ever the fuck again. So, I don't say nothing again. Now we're silent, and I'm hoping that he's getting a fucking message, and he pulls up in front of his house. I'm still expecting this motherfucker that used my car, just got some food and what he needed, to at least try to fire me up or something. You used my car, ain't even give me no gas. I deserve a J, at least. This motherfucker pull up in front of his house, not even in the parking spot where we usually smoke at, and he like, okay, I'm about to go in the house. Puts his hand on my back, like on the seat, to try to give me a hug. And I say, bye. And he's like, you're not gonna give me a hug? Why? Why you not gonna give me a hug? I don't want a hug. Just bye. Bye. He says, okay. Grabbed his food from the back. Forgot his drink and got out the car. I should have threw the drink on the floor. I should have just drank it, but it was soda. I should have just kept it in the car and then threw it in the trash. Something. I gave him his drink, and you have not talked to that man since he walked in that house. Yeah. That's the minute 2025 for you. Yeah, that's what I went through. Thank you. But before y'all get on my ass in the comments, I know I shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda said something, did something. I should have intervened in the bullshit. I should have. But I was, my phone dying again. I was so thrown off, I had nothing to say. Like, I would rather just see what you would rather do, what you would prefer to do, so I can see what I'd rather and prefer to deal with, bitch. And yeah, that was some bummy ass shit, so I just left it alone. But yeah. Yeah, I should have put hands and feet on that man. I really should have, but I was trying to be a good little Christian. I was trying to be like, all right, this is what it is, and that's just what it is, so I'm just going to let it be what it is and just walk away from it. That was my thought process.
It's one of the creepiest stories I've ever heard. Like, it freaked me out so much. It made my stomach turn. Happened to a guy called Tom, and Tom lives in London, rents his own apartment, has a girlfriend, and he's got a really good job as deputy head teacher at school. Everything's fine for Tom. However, the past couple of weeks, he feels like he's being followed by a homeless man, and his girlfriend thinks that it's paranoia. You're going to see homeless men all the time in London, unfortunately, and they have regular spots, and Tom says no, but he's always at the right place at the right time around me. This one particular day, his girlfriend, who's actually called Jerry, by the way, with a G, Stopping around his house, and he looks out the window while they're having a conversation. He sees this homeless man looking up at him from outside the street. And Tom says, look, I'm going to walk you to the tube station tonight on your way to work because I don't feel comfortable. And Jerry's like, look, you're being paranoid, you're overthinking it. And he goes, well, I'm going to walk you anyway because I need to go to the shop. After he's dropped Jerry off, been to the shop, he comes home and he thinks, I'm just going to finish off my work, do some marking, order a pizza. A little while later, he hears the intercom for his apartment go off. So he goes over, expecting it to be his pizza. And the guy on the other end says, hello, I've got your wallet. Tom checks down his pockets and he looks over to the vanity where he keeps his keys and wallet, and it's not there. And he says, are you sure it's mine? And the guy says, well, if you're Tom Smith that lives here, then yeah, I've got your wallet. And he goes, I didn't even know it was missing. Thank you so much. I'll buzz you in. So as he's waiting in his doorway, he hears footsteps coming up the stairs, and the person that's walking up the stairs is the homeless man. This immediately freaks Tom out, and he's thinking, why is it this guy that's found my wallet? But on first interaction, he's a really nice guy. He's really gentle. He's just had a really rough time. He's clearly been on the streets for a really long while. He's got really long hair, very dishevelled clothes. He's dirty. He smells. And he hands Tom over his wallet. Tom instantly looks at the cash where he's got loads of cash there. And the homeless man says, I didn't take anything, don't worry. Tom says, no, I just want to give you some cash to say thank you. And he hands him £40 and they have like a very brief conversation. Tom feels very awkward and he says, look, I need to shut the door now. It's letting a draft in my apartment. It's quite cold. And the homeless man says, yeah, I know. And Tom kind of slowly shuts the door on him. Feels really guilty, but then he's thinking, it's not my responsibility. Like, I can't give him a warm bed. Nothing else happens that night, and the next day, it's a weekend, he hears a knock at the door. And you don't really hear knocks on doors in apartments because you need to get let in. So he opens it and it's the homeless man. I just want to introduce myself as Mig, not Mick, Mig, 2 G's. And he said, I got you a present. And Tom says, you didn't need to give me a present. And he goes, no, I just want to say thank you. And he goes, but you found my wallet and returned it. You don't need to thank me for anything. He goes, no, but you spoke to me. You treated me like a human. Here's a bottle of whiskey. I have had a couple mouthfuls of it because it's quite cold outside and it warms me up. Again, Tom feels really guilty and he goes, look, come inside for a drink. We'll have one, but I've got to pick my girlfriend up after work at 11 and I've got to be up early for work tomorrow. The guys Mig to his living room and Tom goes and gets glasses and he sits down. Mig starts looking at the homework that Tom was marking. And he says, are you a teacher or are you a student? And he says, no, I'm a deputy head. And he goes, oh, do you enjoy your job? And he goes, well, actually, I want to be an author. I'm writing a novel. Mig says, oh, I lived with an author once. His name was Brian Bellingham. I've made that up. I think he had quite a lot of popular books. And then Tom is just over the moon because he's saying, Brian Bellingham, like, he's my favourite author. I've got loads of his books. In fact, I've got his entire collection. Then Tom's no longer bothered about hurrying Mig out the house because he wants to know more about his favourite author. They carry on pouring whiskey. They're having a good time. Next thing he knows, he's being woken up by loads of banging. He goes to his door and it's his girlfriend. And she's like, are you okay? Like, I thought something's wrong with you. You stink of alcohol. Like, what's going on? Never picked me up last night. And he's like, last night? What time is it? And she's like, 10 a.m. Like, have you not been to work? Are you sick? I was like, no, I'm hungover. I stayed up last night with Mig. His girlfriend's like, who's Mig? And he's like, it's the homeless man. He's actually a really nice guy. And she's like, whoa, you've been up all night drinking with a homeless man in your flat. Tells her how great of a guy Mig is. And she's like, look, I don't really want to hear it. He's not that great if he's making you miss your work. I'm not going to see me for 2 weeks because I'm going to go see my parents in Plymouth. I just wanted to let you know, I was hoping we were going to spend last night together. I plans to meet up with each other after 2 weeks and she leaves. And then not long after, Mig walks out the bathroom and he goes, I hope you don't mind. I ran myself a bath. Tom's like, no, I don't mind. You should probably get going though because I need to get to work. I've slept in. He says, well, I can't. I've got no clothes. You told me to chuck all my clothes away last night. You told me I dressed like a tramp. Tom's like, I'm really sorry. I don't remember doing that. Go to my wardrobe. Go help yourself. He's like, look, just thank you so much for treating me like a human, but I do think you need to spend the day after work. I don't want you to get in trouble. Tom's persuaded. He goes, yeah, you're right. I don't feel too great. It's Friday. They're not going to miss me. I'll understand. So Tom calls in sick and him and Mig spend the entire weekend drinking. Drinking that much that he misses his work on Monday and Tuesday. And by Wednesday, his boss is calling him. During his 5-day binging sesh with Mig has convinced him that he's better than his job and he'll never finish his novel if he just is concerned about work. So when his boss calls him, he says, I quit. The next week, him and Mig are just drinking, ordering takeout, spending Tom's money. Tom is looking after his health and his apartment less and less, and Mig is enjoying having warm food, a warm home, a shower. He's starting to take care of himself. Tom also gets a bit concerned because he doesn't hear back from his girlfriend at all. And he also can't find his phone, so he just puts it down to, she's not calling me. He starts to get angry and resentful, thinking she's left me. She's left me because I was hanging around with a homeless man. More days and then weeks pass of Tom drinking all the time, never writing his novel. He sends Mig out to the shop because he's always drunk. He gives him his card. Mig comes back with loads of alcohol. But Tom starts to notice that Mig isn't drinking anymore. In fact, Mig's got his life on track now. He's wearing Tom's suits. He's got himself some interviews. He gets himself a job. He's got himself a bank account. And he's doing well. Tom, on the other hand, is going very downhill. Not cleaning, not washing, not cutting his hair. He's growing out a beard. One day while Mig was at work, there's a massive bang at the door and he opens his door and it's his girlfriend, Jerry. And she's going mental at him. Where have you been? Why have you not been answering my phone calls? Everyone's been concerned about you. Like, you've not been answering anyone's calls. You missed your birthday meal with your parents. Like, what's going on? And he says, you haven't bothered to come to me. You haven't been calling me. And she goes, yes, I have. And he goes, well, I've lost my phone. And she's like, well, whose fault's that then? And he's like, look, it's Mig. I think he's getting me drunk. I think he's replacing me. And she sits him down and says, I don't think Mig's the problem. I think it's you. No one knows who Mig is. Are you sure you're okay? You've had episodes like this in the past. Tom's like, no, Mig's real. He's very much real. You just don't like him because he was on the streets. And then they end up having an argument saying that Mig was no better than his girlfriend because when his girlfriend needed money and needed her rent paying, Tom would happily be the person doing it. But she lives in a hurry and he doesn't see her for a long, long while. Mig has pretty much moved in at this point, going to work regularly, and Tom is just there, drinking all day. His electric gets cut off, his water is on the verge of being cut off, and he's being served eviction notices from his landlord. Mig comes in and sees the eviction notice and he says, why don't I go on the lease, Tom? Like, I've got a job now, I can pay for it, I can return what you did to me. Tom says, you know what, cash is really tight at the moment. And then Mig hands him his wallet and says, here's 40, here's 50, have as much as you want. Now Mig is on the apartment lease and he says, I couldn't add us both on there, Tom, because your credit's really bad. And he says, look, I need to speak to Jerry to tell her what's going on. Mig sits him down and says, Tom, I thought you were getting better. Jerry isn't here anymore. He says, I know, I spoke to her disgustingly. He goes, no, she never came back from Plymouth. She died in a car accident, Tom. This is why you've been drinking. This is why you've been keeping me around. Are you having an episode, Tom? And Tom doesn't know what's going on. He's going, no, I saw her 2 days ago. She told me you weren't real. He looks at Tom and says, look at me. I'm very much real. He then says to him, if you don't book up your ways and get yourself some help, you're going to end up on the street, Tom. And I don't want that to happen to you. A few months later, Tom is on the street in the same spot Mig was. What do you think happened? Was Mig real? Was his girlfriend real? Was it all in Tom's head?
Am I wrong for telling a guy to shut up during a job interview? I was interviewing this guy for a good software engineering position. He passed the first round, and both I and everyone involved in the second round really liked his resume and experience. On paper, he had everything we were looking for, and honestly, this looked like a life-changing opportunity for him. Then he shows up, very serious and not smiling at all. I'm used to that in tech interviews, and I understand it can be an intimidating environment. We did a round of introductions, and then he opened the interview by saying, let me tell you a little bit about myself. We said, okay, go for it. He started talking about his personal and professional background. After about 3 minutes, I jumped in to ask a follow-up question based on something he mentioned. He replied, I will answer, just give me a moment, and continued talking. A coworker jumped in with another question, and he said the same thing to her. At this point, we were kind of looking at each other, but decided to let him continue and give him the benefit of the doubt. But after 5 more minutes, I jumped in again with another question. I had to talk over him to do it. He finally paused and answered, but in such a long-winded way that he ended up veering into another topic. My coworker asked another question and the same thing happened. At this point, I was ready to end the interview. I tried to politely wrap it up several times, but he was unable to read the room and just kept talking. I finally raised my voice slightly and said something like, thank you very much for sharing your background. In the interest of time, I'd like to ask if you have any questions for us. This is standard protocol and helps us prepare answers for future interviews. He asked a question about the team. As I was answering, he raised his finger and interrupted to talk more about his background. I let it go. Then he asked another question, which my coworker started to answer, but again, he spoke over her to talk about himself. I tried once more to interrupt politely, but he kept talking. At that point, I was done. I said, John, you really have to shut up and listen. He was surprised, as was my coworker, but he finally stopped talking. I continued, you walked into this room with a 99% chance of getting the job. Now that chance is 0. The only reason is because in less than 15 minutes, you've demonstrated that you don't have the capacity to listen at all. So I'm telling you now, you're not getting the job. But if you take anything away from this interview, let it be this. No matter how good you are technically, if you can't listen, you'll never excel in this career. He apologized and said, "Can we start again?" I replied, "You had your chance. Best of luck in your future interviews. Make sure you listen." Looking back, I know I could have handled that differently, but I still feel bad for the guy.